This week we're checking out the question All Along the Watchtower, where nothing is quite what it seems, every clue raises another question, and trusting the wrong person could leave you staring straight into the abyss. But what better way to investigate a mystery than with a suitably mysterious beer pairing? We've got a craft beer lined up that's got plenty of character, plenty of attitude, and might be the perfect partner for this particular investigation. So grab your magnifying glass, question everything, and join us as we crack open the question All Along the Watchtower. Welcome to Craft Beer Comics. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Craft Beer Comics. I'm your host Harry, and this week we are going to be checking out the question All Along the Watchtower. This is a DC Comics, part of the DC All In initiative. It's one of the many mini runs of random heroes they're kind of doing. This one piqued my interest because the question, kind of a cool hero, iconic mask. The mask is just like featureless flesh is the best way I can think to describe it. And then they've got the hat and they've got the trench coat. And this version of the question is the Renee Montoya version, which I like a lot. And I kind of realised that on the podcast so far, I've covered a lot of very masculine male lead comics, and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm fucking stuck in a loop. We will check out a female-led comic this week. So that's what you get. You're getting the question All Along the Watchtower. Now, this is a fairly recent comic written by Alex Segura, Kian Tormey, and Romulo. Oh my god, these fucking names. Fajardo Jr. Fucking hell. They couldn't have made it easy for me, could they? These guys have worked on Star Wars comics, Alter Ego, and Kian Tormey has worked on Alan Scott, The Green Lantern, which is a great Green Lantern comic. And if you're a Green Lantern fan, definitely go and check that one out. It's really good. So yeah, I will read the blurb for this, and then we'll just get straight into it. In the wake of absolute power, the Justice League Unlimited has created a haven for all heroes, but Superman, Batman and Wonder Woman need help to keep their outer space watchtower secure. But who can do what the Trinity can't? The answer is the question. Enter Renee Montoya, reeling from an abrupt end to her time in Gotham City. But will Renee's fresh start end in tragedy? There's a mysterious threat hidden within the watchtower, and only the question, along with Batwoman and the rest of a ragtag support team, stands a chance of finding the answers and keeping the body count from climbing even further. So, that pretty much sums it up. It's not a particularly long comic, and as the blurb said, this comes out of Absolute Power, which was it's one of these yearly crossover big event comic things, and spinning out of that, a load of the heroes either lost their powers or got their powers switched with another hero, and then, yeah, it kind of all ties into Justice League Unlimited, and then The Atom Project, which is a spin-off, and then obviously this one, which is also a spin-off. So you kind of just get straight into it. You meet Renee Montoya, you get an idea of who she is, the sort of thing she stands for. You learn she's got a past romantic relationship with Batwoman, who gets assigned to her, ragtag support team. And it's very much a murder mystery noir-esque comic. I think where it really finds its footing is the fact that it's just a person with no powers, no special abilities. She's got a gun. I mean, I don't know if having a gun makes you a superhero. I don't think it does. Definitely doesn't if you're based in America. But it's a lot of this person who's got no abilities, and she's going up against really powerful people. There's a lot of Superman villains in this. You meet the Eradicator, classic Superman villain. She has to go up against him. You meet, spoilers, in case you're going to read it. The big villain of this is Cyborg Superman, which I did not see coming at all. And it really works. It works with this idea of, the watchtowers being corrupted, something's going on, blah, blah, blah. Usually it's kind of just it's this villain who you don't really care about. They're not an A-lister villain. They're not even a B-lister because, they weren't allowed to for the story. And it's kind of just forgettable. But I turned a page and saw it was Cyborg Superman. I was like, oh my god, this is a big Superman villain against The Question, which is woman with gun. Like, this just doesn't match up in terms of like power scaling and everything. But the way they do it is so good. It's a lot of not really like direct fighting. It's the best way to kind of describe it is like you're reading Alien Isolation, in the sense of Hank Henshaw, Cyborg Superman, is the alien, and The Question is the player. You can't really face off against it unless you've got like certain items. So there's just a lot of, oh shit, there it is, we've got to run, and then you're being hunted. That's kind of what this comic book's like. The first half's very like, this person's been murdered. What could be happening here? Why have they been murdered? It's very detective-y, it's very cool. And there's like a sprinkle of action. There's a couple of bits with Eradicator, but they're not that long. And then you sort of hit the halfway mark in the comic, and it's revealed that Cyborg Superman's the villain. And then it turns into like an Alien Isolation type situation. It's really cool. What else I like is this ragtag team she gets Animal Man, which I feel like I haven't seen him in a comic in ages. I might have just been reading the wrong comics, but like, he's one I haven't seen pop up a lot. So it's nice to see him in it. You got Nightshade, who, totally honest, I didn't really know who she was. Batwoman, I know who Batwoman is, but you get more of like a background into her personality, and she's like framed for something, and that's very cool. And then my two favourite members of this ragtag team, two Blue Beetles, not one, but two, Ted Cord and Jaime Reyes. Excellent. I love it. I'm a massive Blue Beetle fan. I've loved Blue Beetle since I was a teenager, so having two of them in this comic was pretty great. The pacing's good, the story's good, the dialogue is good. It worried me a bit at the start because The Question's very like edgy. Oh, I don't want to talk to you because I'm brooding, and it's like, you know, I feel like as a society we've gotten past this idea of a brooding superhero, because it just comes across as obnoxious now. Like Batman, maybe it was cool when, you know, you're a kid and he's like, oh, he's dark and mysterious, ooh. But now you're like, oh, he's just a knob. You know, someone says good morning, you just ignore him. What? Like, yeah, so when that's the start of this comic, I was like, oh, God, I don't know if I'm going to like this character. But they very quickly kind of drop that, and she lets her guard down and becomes a lot more vulnerable and a bit more of like a person as opposed to a Batman knockoff, which is good. I really like that. I'll do the good and then I'll go on to the bad. So, like I said, Cyborg Superman being a villain in this, really cool. I really like that. There's a reason why he comes back. I found it to be a little bit wishy-washy, but overall it kind of made sense and everything else and blah, blah, blah. There's a dog as well. There's like a Phantom Zone dog, I guess. That's fine. He's kind of cute. I like him. He's like a doomsday dog. It is what it is. You know, The Question gets a little mascot. It's fine. And then, yeah, things that kind of just like rubbed me the wrong way were there's a lot of things that happen in this because of mind control, which is fine, but it's not a power I typically associate with Cyborg Superman, mainly because he doesn't have that power. However, in this he does, and it's some like weird reason where he's like, oh yeah, I've been in the Phantom Zone or wherever so long, I've been, you know, mucking around, and now I've got like mind control powers, I guess. That's not what he says. It'd be funny if it was, but that's the long and short of it. And I was sort of like, oh, okay. I think it would have been better if there was someone on the Watchtower that did have telepathy that was working for Cyborg Superman for some reason, instead of just giving Cyborg Superman telepathy. That would kind of be better. But it's okay. It doesn't ruin it for me at all. The other thing that I do like about this is as the comic goes on and the more Cyborg Superman uses his powers, he kind of becomes more unhinged. And as he becomes more unhinged, the metal on his body starts to like morph and grow. So he looks more like grotesque, which I kind of like, because I feel like sometimes where Cyborg Superman's fallen down is they haven't lent enough into the creepy robot-y side. He just looks like kind of skull-face Superman. his silhouette is it's the same. There's nothing to really differentiate him design-wise too much, apart from wherever the artist decides to put stuff. But in this, it's nice that they've like developed that a bit more, and there's a reason for it. And it, bottom line, it looks cool. That's it. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. The art for this is, oh no, I've got something on the cover. Shit, what is that? It's like sticky. So yeah, the art for this one is, yet again, it's very safe. It's tricky. I feel like for a lot of these Justice League Unlimited titles, they're using very, very similar artists. I'm just looking at Justice League Red now. Being totally honest, even though they are two different artists, the main art looks really similar, if not almost exactly the same, which is not good. To be honest, it's not great. I feel like maybe behind the scenes with the Justice League titles, or anything that ties into Justice League, maybe DC are telling them they've got to keep it all like the same or really similar for some reason. As I've said in my other episodes, like, it's just a very, very safe bet. The art's good. It's visually easy. They can do enough with it without going over the top or being too underwhelming. But it's, I feel like with a comic book, it should give both writers and artists the opportunity to shine. And I know it's kind of difficult with this one because it's a murder mystery and it's the Question, there's no like flashy powers or interesting costumes. If anything, it's probably harder because when she's got her mask on, there's no face. It's just like blank bit of flesh. But it's alright. It's fine. I think the art really shines in the sort of fight scenes and how they show motion and interactions. It's cool. One other beat. Sorry, I've just flicked through this and kind of took me by surprise. The Question uses a Green Lantern ring, just kind of willy-nilly. As a big Green Lantern fan, I was a little bit taken aback. Because I was sort of like, she can just use it? Like, it's no issue. As far as we know, the Question's never used a Green Lantern ring before. And then she just kind of picks it up and goes, oh, I'm going to do this for plot purposes. Which is fine, but like, at least show her kind of struggling. There's a panel in an old Justice League comic, like from, I don't know, early 90s, early 2000s, where the Green Arrow has to use a Green Lantern ring. I think he shoots Sinestro. Yeah. It's Green Arrow picks up a Green Lantern ring to save, I think it's Hal. Yeah, it's Hal. And he uses the ring to construct an arrow, and he's like visibly straining to do it. And then the Question just picks it up and does it in this comic. It's a bit, I don't know. It was a bit like, oh, cool, Green Lantern. But also, it's Green Lantern. Show some respect here. At least show her struggling. Or if she's not struggling, follow it up with something. Like, include her in the Green Lantern comics. In some way, I guess. But I don't think they do. It's just one of those things which is just like, okay, plot armor, plot device, whatever, it's a MacGuffin. I feel like I've dwelled on like two negatives that really aren't that big a deal. So the Question, All Along the Watchtower, I'm going to give it an 8. I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed it, and I really liked the villain they chose. It was a big villain, but it didn't feel gimmicky. There was a reason for him to be there. There was a total mismatch of power scaling, and that was great, and it really worked. And it was a perfect opportunity to highlight a female lead who's part of the LGBTQ plus community, and it just worked. It was just great. It was just really, really good. Yeah, the only things that really let it down were a couple of plot points where it was clear that they sort of just had to use a MacGuffin or, radiation as an excuse for the reason things were happening, which I'm never a huge fan of. I always find it a little bit lazy, but, you got to do what you got to do, I guess. And then the art just looks like every single other Justice League comic out there at the moment, or anything related to Justice League. So, yeah, it kind of pulled it down there. The art's good, but it's just not a lot to it. So it gets an 8. So, moving on to the beer, I wanted to pick something that was quite dark and broody to match the question. So this week I have gone with Masters of the Riff from Black Iris. Black Iris are, believe it or not, a Nottingham-based brewery. Who would have guessed it? And I'd never actually had one of their beers before. And I went with my wife for breakfast out to this little vineyard in Nottingham. And they just had a bunch of Black Iris cans just randomly for sale. And I picked up this one because at first I thought it was a Masters of the Universe one. Because it was like turned slightly. So I thought it said Masters of the Universe. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, maybe I'll get that one. And then I bought it and turned it around and said Masters of the Riff. And I was like, oh, okay. That's still fine. But here's a little description for it. So this is a West Coast lager. 5%, 440ml can. 2025 sees the planets align. The Lords of the Rift descend and we team up with our great pals at London Doom Collective and DMC Brewery to bring you this year's brew for Masters of the Rift Festival. Oh, right, that makes more sense now. This year we've brewed a super clean West Coast lager with rice in the grist for low colour and stripped back malt profile to allow the hops to shine. Plenty of sea hops in this one, Cascade, Centennial, Cashmere and Chinook, combined with Amarillo hops to bring plenty of pine, orange and grapefruit tones to the party. Cool, so this is a limited edition one. Sometimes I feel like I come to these, and for a guy that has a podcast called Craft Beer Comics, you'd think I knew quite a bit about the beer I was talking about, but in reality I don't. I just talk about how it tastes and the labels. So there you go, it's a limited edition one for the Master of the Riff Festival. I don't really know what that is, to be honest. I'm presuming it's a music festival. But this is a great lager. It's really, really easy to drink. I know it mentions the orange peel and the grapefruit and the pine. I'm not huge on grapefruit, and I don't necessarily always get it in the beers. But the pine, great. Really like pine one. Another one that was quite good with pine was the Coney beer that I reviewed with Absolute Green Arrow. That was quite piney, and that was delicious. That was a good one. This one's kind of similar. It does have a bit more citrus than the Coney one though, which isn't a bad thing at all. It's really nice. It's really nice. It's very easy. There's not a huge amount going on. I would almost describe it as sessionable. It's obviously not because it's 5%, but it's so light and easy to drink that it could be a session. It could be a session for me, personally. The other thing that I find kind of unusual with this one is it's got flaked rice. I've never seen any other beer so far that's got flaked rice. That's kind of nuts. What I really like about Black Iris is, obviously, they clearly do great beers, but their labels are so cool. I feel like every brewery has its own, like, style. Liquid Lights are very, like, tie-dye, watery colours swishing around, very psychedelic. Neon Raptor tends to be quite retro. Polly's Brewery, they're usually kind of wild colours, and then you just got the Polly's logo in the middle, quite simple. Black Iris, the labels are always black and white. They always use the same font, and it's always like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a really, I almost want to say minimalist, but it's minimalist in the sense of like you've got like an icon, and then the background is very like simple but busy. So there's a pattern, and then that pattern's going off. So Master of the Rift, there's like a demon fella holding a beer, but it's all like almost like tribal. And then in the background it's like speckled, and there's like flames and lightning. It's all very, I don't know, grungy and cool. It's a great label, and you know when you're getting a Black Iris beer because all the cans look like this, but they're all different enough to know you're getting a different one, if that makes sense. But they're really cool. They're really, really cool. I think Black Iris has got a tap room near me, and I've been meaning to get down there for years, but for some reason I always forget. I feel terrible for forgetting, but it's one I really need to visit. So, you know, if Black Iris, for whatever reason, you listen to this and go, oh, he sounds like a sound lad, drop me a message. We'll arrange something and I'll pop down. But yeah, Black Iris Brewery, Masters of the Riff, 5% West Coast lager. I'm giving it an 8 as well. It was really, really good. It was really light, really easy, but the flavours were still there. It was still very beery, very piney. little hint of orange peel, nothing too severe. It's a good lager. Absolutely. I would drink this any day of the week quite happily. So yeah, there you go, this week's beer. So that wraps up today's episode of Craft Beer Comics, The Question All Along the Watchtower, an excellent female-led comic. Only 6 issues, but tells the story it wants to tell and does a really good job of it. Only let down by a couple of weird story points and lackluster art. The beer has been paired with Black Iris's Masters of the Riff is a delightfully light, while still being quite flavourful beer that's suitable for pretty much any day of the week. 5%, not too alcoholic, almost sessionable, a delicious choice. That's an 8 out of 10 on both of those. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Craft Beer Comics. I have been your host, Harry. If there are any comics you think I should take a look at, if there's anything you want me to check out, whether it's beer or comics that you recommend, that you love or that you hate, drop them down in the comments on Spotify, on YouTube, on Instagram, and I will take a look. Please remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends. It's really, really helpful and very much appreciated. And I will see you next time on Craft Beer Comics.